What's up, guys? This is Dylan.
Hi, I'm Quinn.
And we're back. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to tag the little bell also so you know when we drop more videos, because more videos are on the way. There is a lot more content coming, so stay up on that. And also don't forget to check out the website at www.broken.pictures.com, because dot pictures is a new thing and we're cutting edge. We're bleeding edge here.
Bleeding edge.
Bleeding edge technology. Anyways, sorry, that's you.
All right. This is your spoiler alert. In this video, we're going to be talking about what is Hayward launching, so that means if you're not caught up to episode 7 in WandaVision, pause this, go watch that, come back here and enjoy, unless you enjoy being spoiled. If so, stick around. For everyone else, though, you have been warned.
Yes. So just to catch everybody up on, just kind of recap, I guess. Wanda has expanded the borders. SHIELD on the run, 8 miles out.
Sword.
Sword. My bad. But yeah, they are 8 miles out. So I mean, is the next episode going to be a tribute to 8 Mile? We don't know.
Are you ready? Is you ready?
Okay.
You say you ready.
What are you doing?
Whole squad ready.
Are you having a staring contest?
Are you ready? Is you ready?
Just blink. Sweet Jesus.
But I doubt it. We get a rap battle between Agatha and Wanda. Yes, they are 8 miles out. They got a little camp. And Hayward is on his heels. All of his people are now clowns. Reference to the very first scene where Darcy showed up and compared everybody to a bunch of clowns in a clown car. And there's so many circus references, like even the sugar snaps that Wanda was eating for breakfast. The cereal had a clown on the front. Everybody says that that's a reference to the circus, but personally, I think it's a reference to how Agatha clowned her this whole time. It is significant that something big is on the horizon, and we know that Hayward sent the email, so that answers one of the questions that I had with one of the past videos. Hayward sent the email. We know that through Darcy's email that she sent Jimmy. And we also know about Project Cataract, where he has been experimenting with Vision's body, digging around in there for the past 5 years, potentially digging up Ultron or other different things. So, I mean, is a version of Ultron on the horizon? Are we, or see that face? One more thing. Are we potentially dealing with Sentinels? Okay, Quinn.
Well, okay. Sentinels, I feel like Sentinels are coming regardless, but I don't think Vision's the way of Sentinels. In the episode when Darcy and Vision were talking, he went, made the walk backwards of, I was made from Ultron, but my original programming was from an AI Jarvis.
Yes.
Which means
who is also
Jarvis
in there.
Who was also in there, which means his files and programming would still be in there, which he was connected to Tony Stark's main server, knew everything, schematics, and all of that jazz.
Yes.
So I think they figured out how to make some versions of Tony's armors. So they have a few Iron Man suits. Yeah. Just
and
they've
got vibranium supposedly. I mean,
who gave them that? See, this is, I know how they got it. They took what Claw had left, unless Killmonger didn't let anybody have it. But I'm pretty sure they found Claw's stash.
Yeah, and who got all the vibranium that was left over from Ultron's giant flight drill thing or whatever that was in Age of Ultron? Where did all that go? Because that was scavenged.
Super scavenger.
Did Tony's what's Tony's business that he uses to kind of clean
Damage
up
control?
Damage control. I mean, maybe damage control got it.
But we know damage control can be stolen from.
Yeah. Because Vulture, right?
Because Vulture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crap. 5 years. Dear jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
They've been digging around there for 5 years. They've had 5 years to put something together. Something big is on the horizon. And then there was that scene where he's walking through the big hangar with Monica, and there's a guy up on a platform that's welding on something tall. I mean, could that be a Sentinel?
Crap. Could be a Sentinel that's made off of Iron Man's design, more specifically made off of or maybe a design he decided not to use because he's like, why am I going to need a suit of armor that big? Which,
Veronica for the Hulk.
Yeah. For the Hulk. I mean, that's the, what you call it? That's the Hulkbuster. But I mean, like, he did create a suit of armor that could have fought that was made to design to fight the Eternals. It's this big old giant gold armor. But
and we were supposedly already supposed to have seen the Eternals at this point but COVID messed all of that up. We're supposed to have seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out first. We're supposed to have seen Black Widow, then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Eternals, and then WandaVision, I think. So all this, I don't know if
it's happening a little backwards.
Yeah. So things are kind of remixed a little bit. I mean, those will obviously shed more light on what's going on with some of this old magic and those books and stuff like that. But we're talking about the science end of it with Sword. We know Fury. This is kind of, I'm sorry. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Before
I go off on another tangent.
You go ahead. It's fine.
Okay, so we know that Fury he's on the space station, and this is a couple months in the future with Spider-Man Far From Home, right?
Got my shoes.
So we know that's where Fury is. At this point, Skrulls are still posing as Maria Hill and Fury, supposedly. When Hayward showed this, or not the schematic, but the video of Wanda breaking in and taking Vision's body back, he said that he got permission to show the video. And we also know that Hayward isn't the rightful director. He is just the acting director. He's just filling the slot.
Captain Monica Rambeau.
Director Tyler Hayward.
Acting director.
So, which it kind of explains his insecurity, and now Monica's back on the scene, and she's the right, it seems like the heir to the throne type thing because of her mom. But Hayward's trying to hold on and become the real director, apparently. And he's the one that kind of made all these changes based on the AI and stuff that they're getting from Vision and changed the direction of the company. But who is giving him this permission, if not Fury? Is Fury not over Sword? So Fury is like running things from behind the scenes because that's what he does. He's up on the space station. Who's giving him this permission? Do you remember in the first Avengers, at the end, when they were about to call a missile down on Manhattan and Fury told them to wait, he was talking to like a group, like a board. Maybe those people, huh?
I call them the consortium, but that's not their actual name.
So who was, back then we kind of believed that maybe it was the Illuminati, which is, all these other characters, and several of them aren't in the MCU yet, and a couple of them are dead. But so who's given permission? Who is checking these boxes and telling him, because he's a director, right? He's acting director. Who appointed him? Was it the president? Was it this other board? Because supposedly Sword supersedes S.H.I.E.L.D., right? And S.H.I.E.L.D. is not really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
We don't really know where Sword fits in the MCU. Like, I mean, we know in the comics they're kind of like a sister organization, and Shield handles matters of Earth, and Sword handles matters of space. So, where did I mean?
They
It's the
kind of
same.
seem like, I mean, the episode, what was it, episode 5 that we actually got to see Sword? He made it sound like no one's been back up into space in a while, like since the 5 year.
Yeah, and we got the astronauts that have either disappeared or quit on them.
Yeah. So, and then this happened. It seems like they were the first ones to respond, just because they sent somebody to see what's happening.
Mm-hmm. And
So
he's
they just
grounded
took
Monica, so
jurisdiction.
maybe there's something up there more that he doesn't want her finding out about. Maybe launching something from space.
Yep. Could easily be that.
But that's the other hang up for me is how is Fury letting him do this if Hayward is the bad guy? I mean, you know what I mean? Because
Hold on.
it makes sense that Fury would want Vision's body back too. Because I mean, we know in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show that he reconstructed Coulson's brain and brought him back. And because they built that machine, if a Avenger ever fell, to reconstruct them and bring them back. So I mean, maybe Fury is on board with bringing Vision back.
But what he said, his only lines, well, real Fury's lines in Far From Home was, "I don't want to deal with this. I'm on vacation." So I don't think he's actually giving him the orders.
Really?
I mean, it could still be the some form some form of the some form of the group that we saw in the first Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he could be just like, "Can I go ahead and proceed?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, just put an end to this, whatever it is."
Mm-hmm.
So when that entire group there, they could all just be Skrulls since we're here.
I mean, maybe that is who he's getting permission, because I mean, we know Secret Invasion is coming up with Sam Jackson in the lead role as Nick Fury. So I mean, we're going to get into a whole nother video, but this also ties into the Skrulls, the Secret Invasion, who are because we know after Captain Marvel that and after Spider-Man Far From Home that there are definitely Skrulls that are on our side. However, there are other factions of Skrulls that are not. And they haven't really got into that, but it is on the horizon, and we know that for a fact, especially with Secret Invasion coming. And we haven't really got into the whole pre-Skrull war thing going on. Maybe we'll get into that, or maybe that's, I don't know if they'll explore that or not.
They got into it enough, I feel like, to get everybody.
Shield they did big time, but
and in Captain Marvel, because that's who they were. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because she came from the Kree. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got into it, and then just to introduce them to the world, and that's a whole nother video of how Marvel does. Like, they release some movies, and it doesn't seem like that movie has a lot of like content in it, but they just released it just to introduce a whole bunch of stuff, and then it'll be like the actual movie the second time they do a movie. I'm like, okay, yeah.
There's definitely a bunch of stuff that we're going to get into with Captain Marvel too, with Monica having beef or whatever. What's going on with it? Whatever's going on with Captain Marvel, and where some like Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel's character on the general outside seem to think she's this giant hero, yet some people who are closer to her have an issue. So that's all. Yeah. Anyways, what are we launching? What is Hayward launching? That could all definitely be tied in a roundabout way, because if we're launching from the space station, like what is the significance of that, and how does it play into that scene from Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 2 Far From Home where Nick Fury is on the space station?
Yeah. I mean, it could be they had to work on whatever they were working on in space so that it wasn't discovered as easily, because if it's made of vibranium, we know Wakanda, like large things of vibranium, they don't just let people have it. And now, you know, everything's happened. The 5 years passed. They didn't have a king. They didn't have a successor. They just had T'Challa's mom pretty much running the show. So you know,
Shuri was blipped too, right?
Yep. So they were probably on pretty high alert and really kept to themselves, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I wonder how Wakanda is going to react to knowing that Sword can track their vibranium with the decay signature. That's a big deal in itself. I mean, we know we expect that kind of thing from Fury because he likes to keep tabs and all that kind of stuff, but Wakanda is not gonna appreciate that at all.
Nope.
Especially getting into the whole deal with Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa being passed. However they deal with that, they're not recasting him. However they deal with that, and some of the players that he was kind of holding at bay, you know, they would rather go with Killmonger. So,
hell, King Killmonger, which may happen. Who knows? From another universe.
Yeah, the multiverse of madness. Pretty much anything is possible. Doctor Strange coming up. Doctor Strange 2.
Yep.
So, what? Also, another one. I know we're getting off track, but another possibility is Blank Vision, which is like a different version of Vision that happened in the comics. He doesn't have the personality. He's basically just straight
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they another thing we haven't gotten into yet is there was an Easter egg with Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper's brother is Wonder Man, who in the comics, his brain patterns were used to create Vision, and that's why he is like has a human personality type thing. In the background of one of the interviews, we do see a Wonder Man poster where they're talking with, I think, the writer of the show, possibly. So we could be getting into Wonder Man, and we know also that they have already sort of kind of explored Wonder Man because Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion was supposed to play Wonder Man. Yeah, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but it was just going to be like posters of him in different movies at the theater on the theater walls, kind of like they have posters on the outside and stuff like that.
Okay.
And because in the comics, Wonder Man is also an actor. He's part of the West Coast Avengers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was going to be kind of like a wink and a nod, but technically they had cast him as Wonder Man, even though he wasn't going to necessarily be on screen. But they could explore that more in this.
They really could.
Because Wonder Man started out getting his powers because he had an issue with Tony Stark, right?
Yes.
And he was kind of manipulated. He was a businessman who basically his company was driven into bankruptcy because of Stark Tech.
Bankruptcy.
And so they could very much explore that too.
I'm down.
Yeah.
If they launch him from space, but I'm still down. I'm still down. Wow. All right. Yeah.
So, I mean, we could get into Blank Vision and then restoring Vision because he's basically dead and there's no Mind Stone, so they need something to fill in the gaps to kind of bring him back. And that would also really kind of flesh out Wanda's character a little bit more. They did that in the comics where Vision comes back after his death, but he doesn't have any feelings for her whatsoever. There's nothing there. which I
It's
don't
just,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, which
I
I mean,
mean-
what it's a trope, but I mean, like, what do? They bring people back together only to rip them apart again. So we could be dealing with that, and that could potentially be that could be the thing, as well as the twins' disappearance that brings Wanda to the brink of House of M.
Yes. Also, if it is blank vision, like, so the other scene in the trailer where she's like talking to Vision's like, this is our home, and he's like, okay, then let's protect it. And then they go off and fight. If she's fighting Agatha and that they're having their magic fight, and Vision's fighting
And they don't show who
blank
she's
vision.
fighting.
Yeah. And Vision fights blank vision, and they're having their machine fight, and then Vision wins, and then, you know, Scarlet Witch wins, whatever. That's how that goes. And like he starts disappearing and fading away and all that stuff, and then staying with the Mind Stone, her talk, all that jazz, and then she uses that and like puts all of Vision into blank vision, and now Vision's back, like for real, for real.
Yeah, because basically he's like, they couldn't bring her back. Her magic brought him back, right? They tried multiple times, and the only the only memories that he has is the ones that she has given him. Like, I think Monica even alluded to that. It's like, the only lies I've told is the ones you put in my mouth. So I think the same is true for Vision, where he doesn't remember what happened beforehand, and Darcy had to fill him in. So I know that's not exactly what Hayward is launching, but it's all tied in. It's weaving together. So we could be getting blank vision. We could be getting Sentinels. We could be getting
Iron Man armor, because we got Armor Wars coming up with Rhodey as the main character. Yeah.
Who will also be appearing. Don Cheadle will also be appearing in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Has already confirmed that cameo, which is coming out right on the heels of this, because they started filming at the same time, but because they do more location-based filming, and WandaVision was more set-based filming, they had more control over WandaVision. They could keep filming, and they kind of reached the finish line first. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out first, but COVID kind of threw a wrench in all that. Yeah. I wonder if they made adjustments because of the order things are coming out, so that they don't get ahead of themselves with reveals. Man, that's shoot. As complicated as Feige has things already, like, man, could you imagine like having to go back and rework everything? That's insane. That's insane.
So just push this back a little bit, move this up a little bit. Let's just throw that scene over here. Okay, everything will be fine. All right.
Yeah.
Who put Luke Skywalker cameo in WandaVision? What is going on?
All right. Well, that's all I've got for what is Hayward launching. They're on. I don't think I don't know if we're going to see it in the next episode, because I think the next episode is going to be more flashback, and because we've got that scene of Wanda going into Sword and getting Vision's body back, but it's not the scenes we've already seen that were like through the camera recordings. It's an actual scene of her flying up and in the location. So there's more coming up, and we got Doctor Strange coming in, and there's a lot going to happen in the next 2 episodes. So, whew. And I wonder if it's true that these episodes are going to be an hour long, or if they're going to continue, because it was reported last week that each of these 3 episodes were going to be an hour long, and supposedly Feige said that, but it turned out not to be true, because this past episode was only like 36 minutes, 39, something like that.
That's fine.
But either way, it's going to get good. It's going to get crazy.
Get real good.
gonna get real good. All right, that's all I got. What you got? You got anything else?
That's all for me.
All right, so this is Dylan.
I am Quinn.
And we thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you know when we drop new videos, because new videos are coming. Things are about to start popping. There's a whole lot of new content coming out just from the MCU side, as well as The Walking Dead coming back on next week. All kinds of things happening. So just be ready. It's coming. So we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye. I'll do peace again. Bye.